Huawei is at the center of Western concerns that Chinese telecoms companies pose a national security risk. It's the world's number 2 smartphone maker, but also the world's top maker of telecoms equipment. The United States, along with Australia and New Zealand, already has a ban on Huawei selling its profitable network equipment. Now the US has secured the arrest in Canada of Huawei's chief financial officer, Meng Wanzhou, a daughter of the company's founder. She's expected to be extradited to the US to face charges not of espionage, but that Huawei has violated US sanctions by selling telecoms equipment to Iran. Huawei has denied the charges, calling the arrest of Ms. Meng a violation of her human rights and demanded her release. In a moment, an American senator will outline his country's security worries about Huawei. But first, let's hear from Kerry Allen, China media analyst at BBC Monitoring. She's been looking at what social media users in China make of the arrest.
There's been a lot of anger and people have been taking this very, very personally. I mean, there have been tens of thousands of comments today on Sina Weibo, which is what Chinese people use instead of Facebook or Twitter in the country. There's been comments saying that Donald Trump is shameless, that the US is shameless. There's one comment that described Canada as the leg of a dog, and they're saying that, Canada's doing everything that the US wants it to. And there have been calls for a boycott of US telecoms products like Apple in retaliation for this. Now, there's no indication at the moment what the details of this arrest are, but Chinese social media users are seeing that this is an attack by the US based on China's supremacy with 5G, and it really wants to show just how good China's technology can get.
What you seem to be saying is that there isn't just anger at this specific arrest, but more generally towards what's perceived to be Western hostility towards Huawei and its attempt to dominate the market.
Absolutely. And this is something that I've been seeing more and more of from the Chinese media. A lot of anger from perceptions that these countries or these companies are bullying China and are not recognising its excellence. So a lot of the media that I've seen that have been talking about this Huawei story today, big papers like People's Daily or Global Times, they've been saying that this is US antagonism, it's hooliganism even.
So there's a lot of pride in China in Huawei.
Yes, absolutely, a lot of pride. It's constantly being promoted as this big successful organisation that's growing. And actually there was an amusing incident a while ago where the Foreign Ministry does a regular press conference and they were responding to a tweet that Donald Trump had left, and one of the foreign ministers, Hua Chunying, said, "Oh, maybe Trump should get a Huawei." And social media users at the time were saying, gosh, it's almost as if the Chinese Communist Party is directly endorsing Huawei. What have they done? How much money have they paid to to get this much kind of support?
So that's interesting because it seems to suggest that a lot of Chinese regard Huawei as an independent company as opposed to an arm of the state, which I imagine it would have to be in China.
Exactly, and there's a lot of pride for working for a company like Huawei as self-development. So people don't really kind of think about it in terms of whether it would be tied to the state or anything. They're thinking this is a fantastic, the skills that I could learn by being in a company like Huawei or one of these other tech industries. And it's the place to go, really, for people to develop themselves and to be at the forefront of the future, really.
That was Kerry Allen, China media analyst at BBC Monitoring.